Welcome back to Daily AI News at Let's Data Science. It's 2026 0530. Today, we're diving into some pivotal developments from the future of machine intelligence to major product launches. Let's get to it. We begin with capital markets, where Bloomberg reports that OpenAI has held talks with Citigroup Inc. and JP Morgan Chase & Co. about joining its underwriting lineup for a potential initial public offering. Those two banks would join Goldman Sachs Group Inc. and Morgan Stanley, which are already reported to be working on a draft IPO prospectus. According to Bloomberg and Yahoo Finance, OpenAI is currently valued at $852 billion following a March funding round, and the Wall Street Journal has reported the company is targeting a listing as early as September. A confidential filing with the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission is expected within weeks. For practitioners, this is more than financial theater. The addition of global banks like Citigroup and JP Morgan Chase expands distribution capacity and institutional reach. In high valuation technology IPOs, a broad underwriting syndicate spreads execution risk and strengthens book building across regions. If OpenAI moves forward at an $852 billion valuation, pricing discipline, aftermarket liquidity, and research coverage will be tightly linked to the final syndicate structure. A public listing would also materially change OpenAI's disclosure posture. Enterprises integrating GPT 5.5 or embedding OpenAI APIs into mission-critical workflows should expect clearer reporting around governance, material risks, and commercial dependencies once an S1 becomes public. Historically, when major AI vendors enter the public markets, procurement teams revisit vendor risk frameworks and long-term contract structures. Watch for the confidential S1 filing, the final lead bank composition, and details around lockup periods and governance provisions. This IPO, if executed, will be one of the defining capital markets events in AI. Staying with OpenAI, but shifting to product, the company is rolling out a preview of a new personal finance experience inside ChatGPT for pro users in the United States. According to OpenAI and TechCrunch, users can securely connect checking accounts, credit cards, savings, and loans through an integration with Plaid, covering more than 12,000 financial institutions. The feature appears under a Finances entry in ChatGPT and leverages reasoning improvements in GPT 5.5 to provide context-aware financial insights. Importantly, OpenAI states the integration is read-only. ChatGPT cannot initiate transfers or payments. TechCrunch reports that when users disconnect an account, sync data is removed within 30 days, and users can review or delete stored financial memories. This is a major signal. We are watching large language models move from hypothetical budgeting advice to live, authenticated financial data. Integrations with Plaid dramatically reduce friction for personalized analysis, but they elevate the stakes around logging, auditability, and data governance. Privacy experts quoted by Investopedia warn that conversational interfaces encourage oversharing, while American Banker highlights competitive implications for banks as AI intermediates increasingly shape customer financial behavior. If you are building similar systems, pay close attention to deletion controls, retention policies, and connector scope. Financial data combined with advanced reasoning creates powerful user experiences, but it also demands production-grade compliance architecture. Next, Anthropic has released Claude Opus 4.8, positioned as the most capable generally available model in its Opus line. Launched on May 28, 2026, Claude Opus 4.8 introduces a fast mode that Anthropic says can deliver up to 2.5 times higher output tokens per second at premium pricing. From a developer perspective, the update is packed with meaningful ergonomics. Opus 4.8 supports a 1 million token context window for the Opus family, up to 128,000 output tokens, and lowers the cacheable prompt minimum to 1,024 tokens. Anthropic has also documented a stop details object for refusal responses and enabled mid-conversation system messages using role system entries in the messages array. The default effort level is high unless explicitly changed. Baseline pricing is listed at $5 per million input tokens and $25 per million output tokens, with additional multipliers and caching discounts detailed on Anthropic's pricing pages. Claude Opus 4.8 is available through the Claude API and across major platforms including Amazon Bedrock, Google Vertex AI, Microsoft Foundry, GitHub Copilot, and GitLab integrations. TechCrunch coverage also references a dynamic workflows tool for coordinating subagents. This release is evolutionary rather than revolutionary. Axios notes that Anthropic's private Mythos-class models remain ahead in overall capability, with broader release expected in the coming weeks after additional safeguards. But for teams building agentic coding systems or long-horizon workflows, mid-conversation system control and explicit effort settings are practical levers. Lower cache thresholds reduce token waste in medium-length prompts, and fast mode introduces an explicit latency versus cost trade-off. These are the knobs production teams have been asking for. Now to Google, which unveiled Gemini 3.5 Flash at Google I/O 2026. Business Insider reports that Google is framing Gemini 3.5 Flash as a cost-optimized inference option for enterprises struggling with ballooning token budgets. VentureBeat cites claims that the model could help some customers save more than $1 billion annually, though those figures are vendor-linked and require independent validation. Third-party pricing guides list example rates of $1.50 per million input tokens and $9 per million output tokens. The broader message is clear. As model quality converges, cost per token and cost per completed task become central competitive battlegrounds. Gemini 3.5 Flash is being positioned not purely on benchmark superiority, but on inference efficiency. For enterprises deploying long-running agents and multimodal systems, token consumption multiplies quickly. Lower per-token pricing, combined with efficient output, changes deployment economics. However, engineers should validate with workload-specific benchmarks. Real-world cost savings depend on prompt structure, caching strategies, and end-to-end latency, not headline pricing alone. Taken together, Claude Opus 4.8 and Gemini 3.5 Flash underscore a shift in the market. Frontier capability still matters, but throughput, latency, and token economics are increasingly first-class features. Now for a few other key updates in our lightning round. Reuters reports that Japanese Finance Minister Satsuki Katayama said OpenAI has granted select Japanese financial institutions access to GPT 5.5 to strengthen cyber defenses. The Nikkei indicates that MUFG Bank, Sumitomo Mitsui Banking Corp., and Mizuho Bank are expected to gain access, though the banks did not confirm. Katayama also said Japanese institutions are expected to receive access to Anthropic's Claude Mythos. This reflects a pattern of gating frontier models to trusted partners in critical infrastructure sectors. Fortune reports that Microsoft is building a Copilot super app combining GitHub Copilot, Copilot Chat, Copilot Cowork, and an internal agentic workflow project called Autopilot. The effort is reportedly led by Jacob Andreou, Microsoft's head of Copilot, with a planned launch by the end of summer. The internal slogan, delivering one Copilot. Google is rolling out Gemini Spark, a 24/7 agentic assistant, to Google AI Ultra subscribers in the United States. According to TechCrunch and Android Authority, Gemini Spark runs on cloud virtual machines and integrates with Gmail, Drive, Calendar, Docs, Sheets, and Slides. Forbes reporting highlights onboarding warnings and references to an agent payment protocol introduced at I/O, underscoring the complexity of autonomous purchasing and usage caps. In mobile AI, Google is deploying a redesigned document scanner in Google Drive and Files by Google on Android. Features include smart batch scanning, auto best frame, and duplicate detection, running entirely on-device via Google Play services. Reports indicate an 8 GB RAM requirement, signaling a continued push toward edge-based computer vision. Finally, a randomized clinical trial published in JAMA Network Open found that a conversational AI platform called Kai produced modest but statistically significant reductions in anxiety and depression among roughly 1,000 Israeli university students. The AI arm showed greater reductions in GAD-7 and PHQ-9 scores compared with group therapy and waitlist controls, though changes fell below commonly cited minimally clinically important differences. No serious adverse events were reported. It's an important data point for digital mental health, but the effect sizes suggest these tools are best viewed as scalable adjuncts, not replacements. And that's your AI briefing for today. The landscape is moving faster than ever, and we'll be here to track it with you. For more insights, visit us at letsdatascience.com. Thanks for tuning in, stay curious, and we'll be back tomorrow with the latest in AI.